Hi, everyone. I want to introduce the incredible Tania Sparkle, certified hypnotherapist and transformation coach, and member of your Sensual Souls Spirit Squad, who are here to empower you to embrace your truest self through self discovery, self care, and self expression. Welcome, Tania.
Hi, Kate. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Thanks for being here. To start off with, can you tell us a little bit about what you do and how working with you might differ from working with other life coaches?
Yeah, sure. So I am a transformation coach. So my main aim with clients is to just help them transform an area of their life or multiple areas of their life that they feel they might be stuck in, feeling unfulfilled, feeling lost. And in terms of the hypnotherapy side of things, really being able to release any fears, blocks, limiting beliefs, generally anything that's kind of getting in your way to getting where you want to be.
Amazing. So, yeah, that's what's so unique about you is that you've got these two different modalities. You've got this life coaching, this transformation coaching background, but then also this hypnotherapy background, which you blend so beautifully together. So, for someone who's never heard of hypnotherapy before, or maybe is a bit skeptical about working with someone who is a hypnotherapist, how would you explain it to them? What would you say to someone who's never done anything like this before?
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely a common experience for people that maybe haven't tried hypnotherapy before. A lot of people have associated hypnotherapy with stage hypnosis, where you might end up barking like a dog or something like that. Or so there's a lot of, I think, misconceptions out there about hypnotherapy. The main difference between hypnotherapy and other forms of like talk therapy and psychotherapy is just that you're really getting to the root cause of what's going on because you're tapping right into the subconscious mind. So a lot of the time when you're doing talk therapy, you're having a conscious conversation. So you're talking to someone, a therapist, about, pardon me, about what you're going through, what maybe happened in your childhood, that sort of thing. With hypnotherapy, you're putting somebody into a really nice, relaxed state. It's kind of like a meditative state. You're definitely in control the whole time. You're not, you're able to have a very clear, lucid conversation with your therapist, and you're just very relaxed in kind of like an alpha brainwave state where you can tap into your subconscious and really uncover a lot of the root cause of why you might have a particular phobia, addiction, a lack of confidence. It can really help in so many areas. So, yeah, that's kind of the main difference. And definitely just understanding that hypnotherapy or hypnosis is not in any way a dangerous thing. You're not out of control. You can come out of it at any point in time. And then, like I said, just like a really nice, relaxed, meditative state.
Yeah, amazing. So it sounds like what you're saying is the main difference is being able to sort of get past the some of the barriers that we've put up in our conscious mind, some of the protections that maybe we have around not wanting to access some of these deeper things. And through going into this relaxed state, you're able to really tap into the subconscious mind and do the deeper healing work.
Yeah, absolutely. One sort of common analogy that we like to use is just like when you go to a dentist and you need to have a root canal because there's some infection going on that is really making you unwell. Um, Hypnotherapy allows you to really extract that infection, that thing that's holding you back, the fears, the limiting beliefs, the blockages, unprocessed trauma, and just really getting that out of your subconscious mind, because your subconscious mind pretty much rules your entire life. It's 95% of your behavior patterns, your thought patterns. And if you're not aware of a lot of what's going on beneath the surface, it can be really hard to consciously change your behavior. So when you're able to extract that from the subconscious, reframe it, and then transform it into something really positive or beneficial for you, just like having a root canal, you can really just end up with a much more healthy tooth. And in this case, mind, life, body, whatever it is that you're trying to heal.
Amazing. So it seems like it would be really important for clients to feel a sense of safety when they're working with you. How important is safety in the work that you do, and how do you create a safe space for people that work with you?
So, absolutely, just talking about initially what they're concerned about, what they're seeking, really just making sure that one, they understand everything is completely confidential, so that they do feel safe to share anything and everything that they want to. I know for me personally, and some people might argue that this is maybe not the most professional way to handle things, but I really love to build a strong connection with my clients, even friendships, just because I think particularly with women, we need to feel safe. We need to feel seen and heard. And you can't help but then bond with somebody when you're being that vulnerable. So it is really important for me to make sure that both parties feel that there's a connection there, that there's like a vibe, I guess. Because, you don't gel with everyone, and it's not going to serve the client if they don't feel safe and that they can connect and that they do feel seen and heard. Because yeah, the progress will just not happen, the shift won't happen. So absolutely having a really clear open conversation. There's no limits to what can be talked about, everything is always confidential. And yeah, just more so just starting to build that rapport, that safety in the vulnerability. I love that part. That's the most rewarding aspect of what I do, is to really feel connected to my clients, because that's when things shift. You can really feel like you can let go.
Absolutely. So by starting with that connection first, building that rapport, you create this sense of safety for your clients to be vulnerable with you. Can you speak a little bit to how much is the client in the driver's seat with this work?
Yeah. Look, with the coaching, I would definitely say probably 60-70% is them. I'm there as, well, I have multiple roles depending on what people are working on, but um, I'm the accountability person, I'm the cheerleader, I'm the guide, I'm the mentor. It is all supportive. It's not, I'm going to tell you what to do, I'm going to tell you what things mean, all that kind of stuff. They need to get to the answers themselves, and they need to put in the work themselves in terms of moving forward and making the shifts. But I guess the thing that I love about my work is that when they come to me and they do feel lost or misaligned or unfulfilled, we just start to like dig a little. And I will come at it from every angle in terms of like, okay, is it, are you feeling like not fulfilled in your career? And then we'll discover a little bit about that, and kind of look at life as a whole. And then over time, it might be actually something completely different that's going on. And so it's not just, okay, well, you need to put in place a action plan of how you want to shift your career. It's also, we need to like look at how you're feeling and how you talk to yourself. Do you have the feeling of a low self-worth? Is there a lack of confidence? Just there's always things going on under the surface. So definitely the client needs to, one, be ready. I like to use the analogy that if you're lukewarm, tepid water, we're no good. You need to actually be in the boiling water. Like there's some sort of pain there that's going to drive you, because if you're lukewarm, you're like comfortable. It's like, oh yeah, look, I'd like to change my career. I'd like to work on my health. I'd like to have a relationship, but I'm also like pretty like chill where I am. And it's like, okay, that is not a driver for change. And I can have sessions with you ongoing for months, but we're not really going to make any progress because you don't feel driven enough or uncomfortable enough to make a change. Having said that, you know, when we do, oftentimes with a hypnotherapy session, we can really dig a little deeper into the subconscious, remove some of the blockages that are keeping you comfortable, and then move forward. So definitely also with hypnotherapy, while the session can be hugely beneficial, there's also an element of listening to a transformation recording for 21 days minimum. And that is on them to be consistent with that, because again, if they're not putting in the work, if they're not going to utilize the shifts and the lessons that they're having along the way, they're not going to experience the transformation they've initially come for. And I certainly don't ever want to have somebody feel like they're not getting something from our time together, because, you know, they pay money to have the service. It's important that they feel that they're getting value, exceptional value, I would say. But yeah, it's definitely a two-way street with this.
Absolutely. And I actually think that that's so empowering, because we are the authority in our own healing. We are the ones who ultimately make the changes and the shifts within ourselves. No one can do that work for us. But what we're doing with Sensual Souls, and what you do so beautifully, is empowering people to show them, like, you can make these shifts. These shifts are accessible to you. And if there are certain reasons why you feel like maybe they're not accessible to you, you've got these two different modalities that you use to help shift those mindsets and to help heal really the root cause underlying issues of maybe why people aren't able to manifest the life that, or even imagine the life that is out there waiting for them to step into.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you touched on a really important point there. There's two things that I think are really key with any kind of transformation. It's one, feeling like being able to imagine the life that you want, because a lot of the times people will just be like, I can't even see it. I can't even see it. I don't think it's available to me. And it stops right there. And the other thing is then being able to empower themselves, take the action, move forward. One thing that I think is so key with either coaching or hypnotherapy, or any kind of therapy for that matter, is that people need to feel like they have permission to do this, and that they have someone in their corner supporting them. I feel like, you know, not everybody's had a lot of experience perhaps with the coaching industry, but definitely there can be a misconception around, well, what do I need a life coach for? It's I can just go on with my life and do the things, but really, just like, you know, in athletics or, you know, sport, it's like getting that peak performance or that ultimate life. And a lot of the times it can be really scary. It can be really you can just feel really stuck in your situation. And until you find somebody that can be in your corner, support you, and say, you know what, you've got permission to want these things, to want to create the life of your dreams, and let's work together on how we can create that for you. Because that's, you know, I think a lot of us will very much stop at the point where it's like, that's not available to me, or I don't deserve it. I don't feel worthy of that. I don't feel like I'm enough. I mean, obviously, like, a lot of that's just such a core fear in people. I'm not enough. I'm not lovable. I'm different in some way. I can't connect. And, you know, just having that coach or a therapist, whatever modality you need, to just say, like, I'm here to support you, and I'm here to cheer you on. Like, you can do it. You can do it. We can absolutely figure this out. So
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. So many beautiful things in that, touching on these really core wounds that so many of us hold, that are really the root cause of what's holding us back. And also just letting people know that they don't have to go on this journey alone. You know, community is so important. Support is so important. And I think that a lot of people have been burned by traditional healers or traditional life coaches who are working in maybe a really masculine way with really structured sort of guidelines around what you need to be or what you need to do. And so I really love that you work with the individual person to say, you know, to ask them, what is it that you want, and start with their direction. And then, you know, you're empowering them, you're healing anything that's blocking them, and helping them to obtain that life of their dreams. How
Yeah.
has, how has your personal journey influenced the work that you do now? Like, how did you end up here?
Yeah. Okay. That it's a lot of different things I think that's influenced where I am right now. From a very young age, I was fascinated with psychology, human behavior, why we do what we do. I was always analyzing and dissecting things, and I was a bit of a maths nerd, so I loved problem solving and stuff like that. um, and so that drove my passion for psychology. I pursued that in university, and then randomly also took a completely different direction in my final year. And I had always been a dancer as a child, and I had started pole dancing um, in my early 20s. So I was, overlapping with university. And I remember, one day, like, sort of saying to my boss, who I had started instructing there, and I said, oh, I'm kind of curious about maybe opening a studio, because at that point there was nothing in my side of town. Um, Long story short, I actually ended up opening a pole divas dance studio. So I've actually had that for 14 years now, and that became my job. And while I finished my degrees, I never necessarily pursued psychology as a career at that point. Um, Being able to work with women and really see what pole dancing does for women's confidence and self-esteem, not only their fitness as well, obviously, but and just the community and the connection that women had. It was just so powerful and transformative. And so I was always very fascinated with that as well. I suppose maybe 7 or 8 years ago now, I did feel quite stunted in terms of, like, when you feel like you're on that hamster wheel of needing something new or some new project or, passion or something to explore. And I discovered Tony Robbins and self-development seminars, and I went very hard on that. And that was great for the moment in time, like the life that I was experiencing in that point. But it was very masculine, very like, take massive action, rah! And sure, like, I was real fired up about it at the time, and I learnt things through those seminars and all the seminars that I did, that was very valuable. But this still something felt very misaligned for me. I was like,
Very
yes,
ungoddess like.
absolutely, it's very ungoddess like. But actually, one of the seminars I went to, which was his Date with Destiny seminar, was my first exposure to the masculine and feminine energy. And I had like a full epiphany. I was like, my God, I'm living in my masculine so much. And I've forgotten what that core feminine is like, even though I had a pole dancing studio and I understood it on a superficial level. Oh, dancing and the fluidity and the feels and all that kind of stuff, but I did not embody it at all. And oh, look, I could go on for hours about this, but basically it was a huge moment for me to realize that I had all these masks, masculine, feminine, just layers of the stuff. Anyway, after that, I also then moved into coaching through that sort of that world. Got trained in coaching. Also, after doing that, realized that was incredibly masculine, and I was like, okay, I need to sit with this for a little bit and figure out what really speaks to me. Like, I know that this is not quite right. And so while I had the skills that I'd learned, which was very useful, and obviously, I just needed to get more in tune with myself. And I'd always had a little bit of a um, fascination with the universe and energy and that kind of stuff, but I didn't really know that much about it, manifestation, all that kind of thing. I think back then it was definitely not the world it is today. Um, and yeah, then I started to look into the more sort of esoteric, the more metaphysical, very much a Joe Dispenza kind of vibe, quantum field, manifestation. And then I started to realize what was kind of going on beneath the surface, all of the energy that, is in us and dictates everything in the universe. And then I got obsessed with that. And then basically from there have been able to combine all elements. So the academic psychology and now the hypnotherapy as a form of therapy for people. So very still quite structured. There's a process, and it delves into the subconscious mind with divas, the movement, the body work, the shifting of the energy through sensual movement, through dance, and also now the coaching slash universal energy work, I suppose. So I will always incorporate or move between all of those different modalities now, because it's like having a little toolkit. It's like, okay, a client might come to me and need they might feel that they're struggling in their relationship, and we need to come at it from the sort of the surface level, the conscious mind. What's going on, what can we do, what does it look like, the subconscious, dealing with like getting out that root cause, that limiting belief, that fear, perhaps incorporating any kind of movement practice, energy work, breath work, meditation, all of that kind of stuff. And yeah, just kind of seeing what we can do to make the shift, because all of those tools for me are beneficial in some way.
Absolutely. Wow. So juicy. So many juicy tools in there. And it's so holistic. You've touched on mind, body, and soul, spirit in that. You've got this amazing hypnotherapy technique to work with the subconscious mind. You have this background in dance and movement, which really helps you to be embodied, and you're always recommending movement practices. And then you've got this, universal manifestation and energy connection as well. So you're really working across all levels. And I love how on your journey, you were always checking things to see how aligned is this with me, and balancing your masculine and feminine, because sometimes we do need our masculine to come in and help us to really achieve those goals that we set them in our feminine, but we really achieve them with our masculine and follow that through. So we all have both inside us, and you've got tools that can bring out the best of both, which is really amazing. And it seems like connecting to your authentic self was such an important part of your journey. So I'm wondering, how important is reconnecting clients to their inner guidance, their intuition, their authentic self in the work that you do?
Yeah. Oh, that's everything. 1000%. Misalignment with your true desires is absolutely the root cause of all pain. That is it. Like, if you are misaligned, if you are lying to yourself, if you are denying yourself, if you are forcing yourself to be or do something that is not aligned with you, it is going to cause pain. Oftentimes manifesting as physical pain, but it will cause pain and over time do some sort of damage. And so I this kind of ties back into what I was saying before as well. I am so passionate and so driven to help people connect with that, because they need to feel that they have permission to be supported in that way. They can oftentimes, without any kind of external support or even just a conversation with a friend, they're going to sit there and maybe not be consciously aware of it, but something will feel off. And they will just, it will manifest in different ways. Like I said, could be physical pain, could be, you know, some sort of drama or you know, issue that keeps popping up. And there's this cycle of, you know, something going wrong. And so, you know, if somebody feels like they can't, if they're not in the job that they want to be in, or if they're, you know, in the relationship that they don't want to be in, or that they're guilty of this, making excuses for a certain type of relationship and tolerating and enduring certain behavior from somebody because they think they should, because there's some societal expectation or a parental expectation or just an internal one that they think that they should pursue this, have this, do this, whatever. It's going to implode on itself eventually. One really cool analogy I learnt in coaching was the whole concept of the feather brick truck. And so if you are not tuned into your inner guidance, if you are not being true to yourself, you're going to get a feather from the universe first. And it's going to be a little blip. It's going to be something that kind of throws you off, and, you know, maybe an inconvenience in some way, something breaks, or, you know, whatever. If you don't pay attention to the fact that you are misaligned in this, at this point, if you're not being true to yourself and you're not working towards, because I know it can be difficult, if you're not working towards this truer version of yourself, you're going to get hit by like a brick, and it's going to hurt a bit more. And again, if you're not paying attention, if you're not acknowledging that this brick has hit you and you're like, damn, that wasn't cool at all, like that, I'm not happy about this, this hurt, or this really set me back, or I've lost a lot of money, or whatever it may be. If you don't pay attention to that, the truck is coming and it's going to really, you know, knock you about. Yeah, not everyone wants to experience the trucks. Sometimes the trucks are valuable, but what I was saying about the whole, like, you know, reconnecting you with your inner guidance, I'm there to give you permission to say, you know what, I don't want to be a doctor, or I don't want to be in this relationship, or, you know, I have terrible boundaries with my parents, or something like that. I've had enough, and I'm here to be helping you reclaim that power and giving you permission to say, I want to be an artist, I want to be a dancer, I want to have my own business, I want to have an amazing relationship, I want to, you know, work remotely, whatever it is. Giving yourself permission to want that, and then figuring out how you can do it. Because I know people stop there and they're like, I don't know how to do it. It's too scary for me. I don't know where to start. Nobody will support me with this. Everyone will think I'm crazy, all that kind of stuff. That's where I'm there to be like, let's just talk about what you want, and then we can break this down into bite-sized pieces, because the overwhelm can be real. So yeah, it's a journey. It's a fun journey.
Amazing. I love that, the feather brick truck. That reminds me of one of my favorite Eckhart Tolle quotes, which is, life's not here to make us happy, it's here to make us conscious.
Yes.
So it's like these obstacles are actually opportunities for awakening. And, you know, these are calls like, hey, wake up. And, you know, we're here to help support people to do the work when maybe they realize, like, I'm hitting the same patterns over and over again. I'm awake to these patterns now, but I have absolutely no idea how to change. And that's where sometimes you need to just, like you said, give yourself permission to reach out for support. So yes, thank you so much for sharing that. I think reconnecting people to their intuition is so important. last question for you, Tania. What makes you most excited about being part of the Sensual Souls team?
Oh, honestly, when I met everybody on the retreat, when we first all came together as a team, I just remember thinking there's something so powerful here. And I was so excited to be a part of it because everybody had the same intention. The energy was real, the energy was aligned in supporting women, helping women become the truest versions of themselves. We all had our own journeys, we all had our own specialties, our own tools. It was just an incredible experience. And I knew there was such great power in women coming together and supporting each other and then expanding that to a much wider audience. So I think it almost felt like that whole like with our powers combined kind of Captain Planet thing where it was just like what each of us individually can affect change and are passionate about doing that and empowering women, supporting women, doing what we can in our little part of the world. But when you bring 7 women together and then more, you know, with the women that we support and the people that we want to bring into the circle, it's the energy's just incredible. It's very, to me, it's got that real primal women's circle energy of because I love all that kind of the energy work that comes through with women being together. When women truly support each other, it's really unstoppable. Like I've already seen it, but it is so lovely to feel safe with other women and just connect and share. And you know, that's what we do. We just love to share and open up and be vulnerable, and it's just, it feels so safe and so exciting and empowering. And yeah, I can't wait to see where this all goes and the community that we can create, because the intention's right. It's hard sometimes when you're looking for a particular modality, a form of therapy, you're not even sure sometimes what you need. Seeking out individual services can be really tricky because you're like, well, I can't vouch for, no one can vouch for this person. I'm finding them on Google and that's the end of that. I have to try them. And I'm sure we've all had experiences where you've looked for a therapist or you looked for something and you're like, oh, that didn't feel right. By having this community and this team, it's like, if we can all vouch for each other, we know that our individual client circles, whatever that may be, will be safe with these other women. And so it ends up being, like you mentioned before, a very holistic kind of service or support, or come at it from different services or forms of therapy, and just know that they're going to be seen, heard, held in a safe space. And yeah, that's why I'm so excited about it.
Absolutely. You just hit the nail on the head, just feeling held by us, and that we're there on the sidelines waiting to like jump in for you whenever you need, offering you inspiration on a daily basis, and just being there so that when you do need support, maybe, you know, you're not always going to need it, but when you do need it, you want to know exactly where it is and where to get it, because when you're down, that's the hardest time to try and be searching for someone to help you. You know, you can be more proactive and be part of a community so that whenever you do get down, you know exactly where to get support. So I love that answer so much. And I've enjoyed talking to you so much. Thank you, Tania.
Thank you so much, Kate. I loved it as well.